Every city has ghosts. Not the kind that rattle chains or whisper your name in the dark, but the kind everyone sees and pretends not to. Mine sat on the corner of 7th Street and Lexington Avenue every morning at exactly 7:45 a.m. Same spot, same posture, same silence. Her name, at least the one she gave me, was Riley. I didn't notice her at first, not really. She was just another blur in the routine of my life. Another shadow between my overpriced coffee and my overpriced mistakes. New York has a way of making people invisible, and I was good at not seeing things. Back then my life was simple, predictable, hollow. I lived alone in a narrow brownstone my father left me when he died 3 years earlier. It creaked in places it shouldn't, groaned at night like it remembered things I didn't. I worked as a financial analyst downtown. Glass office, grey cubicle, grey people. Every morning I followed the same routine. Wake up, shower, black coffee, ignore the silence. Walk 6 blocks to the subway. Pass Riley. Ignore Riley. Until the morning, everything changed. It was October. Cold enough to make your breath visible, but not cold enough to justify how empty she looked. She couldn't have been older than 19. Thin, pale, wrapped in a denim jacket that had seen better decades. Her shoes were falling apart. Not worn, falling apart. The sole of her left sneaker flapped slightly when she shifted her foot. She wasn't holding a sign. That's what got me. Most people out there had signs, stories written in black marker. Veteran, hungry, anything helps. But she had nothing. Just her hands tucked into her sleeves, just waiting. I walked past her like everyone else, until I heard it. "Sir?" Her voice was quiet, careful, not begging, asking. I stopped, turned. Her eyes met mine, gray, sharp, too aware. "You dropped this." She held out a dollar bill. Mine. I must have dropped it pulling out my subway card. I stared at it, then at her. "You could have kept it," I said. She shrugged. "Didn't belong to me." Simple, matter of fact, no guilt, no pride, just truth. That hit me harder than it should have. I reached into my wallet and pulled out a 5, held it toward her. She hesitated. "I'm not—" "It's fine," I said. "Just take it." She studied my face like she was told something. Then slowly she took it. "Thank you," she said. Not desperate, not relieved, just genuine. That was the first morning. I told myself it was a one-time thing, a random act of kindness, something people post about and forget. But the next morning, she was there again, same spot, same stillness. Our eyes met briefly. I don't know why I did it. Maybe guilt, maybe loneliness. Maybe I just needed to matter to someone, even for 5 seconds. I handed her another 5. She nodded once, no words. Day 3, another 5. Day 4, another. It became routine, something quiet between us, unspoken. No expectations, no conversations, just existence. Weeks passed. Fall turned colder. The wind sharpened. One morning I brought her coffee, black. She looked at it like it was something fragile. "You don't have to do this," she said. Her voice carried that same careful distance. "I know." She wrapped her hands around the cup. For the first time, she smiled. It was small, but real, and something about it stayed with me the entire day. After that, we started talking. Little things at first. Cold today. Yeah. You from around here? She shook her head. No. She never said where she was from, never said how she ended up there, and I never pushed. Some people carry silence like armor. One morning, she asked me something unexpected. Why do you do it? I frowned. Do what? The money. I shrugged. Guess I can? She watched me carefully. That's not why. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. Or maybe I did. But I wasn't ready to say it out loud. Because giving her $5 every morning was the only time in my day that felt human. The only time I wasn't just another replaceable cog. The only time someone looked at me like I existed. December came. Snow threatened. The city grew colder. People grew meaner. But Riley was always there. Until the morning she wasn't. I stopped at the corner, looked at the spot. Empty. Just dirty snow and cigarette butts. I waited a minute, then another. Nothing. Something about it bothered me more than it should have. I told myself she moved on. Found somewhere warmer, safer, better. I walked to the subway, but the entire day something felt wrong, like a sentence that ended too early. That night I barely slept. The brownstone creaked louder than usual. Wind scraped branches against the windows. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up, certain I heard something downstairs, a soft sound, like movement. I held my breath, listened. Nothing. Just the old house settling. I told myself I was imagining things. I went back to sleep. The next morning, she was back. Same corner, same stillness. Relief hit me before I could stop it. You okay? I asked. She nodded. Yeah. But she didn't look okay. She looked tired, more than usual, like she hadn't slept at all. I handed her the $5. Her fingers brushed mine briefly. Cold. Freezing. She hesitated, like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Instead, she just said, "Thank you," and watched me walk away. I didn't know it then, but that would be the last normal morning of my life. Because 3 weeks later, Riley would send me a text, and I had never given her my number. The text came on a Thursday, 11:38 a.m. I was halfway through a spreadsheet, half listening to my manager ramble about quarterly projections, when my phone buzzed against the desk. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something, instinct maybe, made me flip the phone over. Unknown. Don't go home tonight. That was it. No punctuation, no explanation. Just that. I frowned, staring at the screen like it might explain itself if I waited long enough. Spam, I thought. Some scam. I locked the phone and tried to focus again. 30 seconds later, it buzzed again. Unknown. I'm serious. Don't go back there. A cold pressure settled in my chest. I don't know why those words hit different. Maybe it was the certainty in them. Not a threat. A warning. I typed back before I could talk myself out of it. Me. Who is this? The typing bubble appeared instantly, then disappeared, then appeared again, like whoever it was wasn't sure how much to say. Finally, "You know me." A strange hollow feeling opened in my stomach. I read it again. "You know me." I ran through names in my head, co-workers, old friends, my ex. None of it made sense. "No, I don't." This time the reply took longer, almost 2 full minutes. Then, "You give me $5 every morning." My heart stopped. Literally stopped. For 1 second my body forgot how to function. Riley. It had to be. But that was impossible. I had never given her my number, never told her my last name. Hell, I barely told her anything. My fingers hovered over the screen. "How did you get this number?" No reply. I waited. 30 seconds. A minute. 5 minutes. Nothing. I stood up from my desk, ignoring the confused look my manager gave me, and walked to the hallway. Called the number. It rang once. Twice. Then went straight to voicemail. No greeting, just silence. I hung up, tried again, same result. A strange mix of fear and curiosity crawled under my skin. How did she know? And more importantly, why was she warning me? I left work early that day. Told my boss I wasn't feeling well. That part wasn't a lie. The entire subway ride home, I kept checking my phone. No new messages, no missed calls. Nothing. The city outside the train window blurred past in grey streaks. My reflection stared back at me, uneasy, uneven, like I was already someone else. When I reached 7th Street, my chest tightened automatically. She was there. Same corner, same denim jacket, same stillness. For a moment, I just stood across the street, watching her, trying to reconcile the girl in front of me with the number in my phone. She looked up, saw me, and immediately looked away. That was new. I crossed the street slowly, stopped a few feet from her. "You texted me," I said, not a question. Her jaw tightened slightly. She didn't answer. "How do you have my number?" Silence. The traffic roared behind us. A taxi honked. Someone laughed somewhere down the block. But between us, nothing. Finally, she spoke. "You shouldn't go back there tonight." Her voice was quieter than usual, almost strained. A chill ran down my spine. "Why?" She shook her head. "I can't explain it." "That's not good enough," I said, sharper than I intended. Her eyes met mine then, and for the first time since I'd known her, she looked afraid, not for herself, for me. "I'm trying to help you," she whispered. 1,000 questions burned in my throat. How do you know where I live? Why my number? What's in my house? But before I could ask them, she stood up, quickly, too quickly. "I have to go." And just like that, she walked away. No limp, no hesitation, gone into the crowd like she'd never existed. I didn't follow her. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't want answers badly enough yet. Maybe part of me already knew. That night, I stood outside my brownstone longer than usual. The building looked the same. Narrow, 3 stories, dark brick. My father bought it cheap in the 90s, back when this part of the city still scared people. He used to say houses remember things. I used to laugh at that. Now, I wasn't so sure. I unlocked the front door, stepped inside. The air smelled stale. Not bad, just unused. Like opening a room that had been closed too long. I locked the door behind me, checked the windows automatically, all closed, all secure, nothing out of place. I told myself I was being paranoid, that Riley was just a homeless girl with trauma, mental illness maybe. People in the city saw danger everywhere. It didn't mean it was real. I walked upstairs. The wooden steps creaked under my weight. Same as always. Halfway up, I froze. There was a sound above me. Soft, barely audible. A faint shift, like pressure on wood. I held my breath, listened. Nothing. My pulse hammered in my ears. Probably the pipes, I told myself. Old houses made noise. That's what they did. I finished climbing the stairs, checked every room. Bedroom, bathroom, guest room, closets. Empty. All empty. I laughed under my breath, nervous, embarrassed. You're losing it, I thought. I went downstairs, poured myself a drink, sat on the couch, turned on the TV for background noise. Anything to fill the silence. Around midnight I must have fallen asleep, because the next thing I knew, my phone buzzed. I jerked awake, heart racing. The TV flickered silently. The room was dark except for the screen. My phone glowed in my hand. Unknown number. My chest tightened. I opened it. Unknown. Are you home? I stared at the words. My mouth went dry. Slowly I typed, yes. The reply came instantly. Unknown. You need to leave. Now. A cold wave crashed through my body. I stood up, every nerve awake. Why? 3 dots appeared, stopped, appeared again, then unknown. Because he's already inside. My heart slammed violently against my ribs. I turned slowly, scanning the dark living room, the hallway, the staircase. Empty. Silent. Then, from directly above me, a floorboard creaked. Not settling, not shifting. Stepping. Someone was on the 2nd floor, and I was not alone. I didn't move. I couldn't. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my body stayed frozen in the middle of the living room, staring at the ceiling like I could see through it. Another creak. Slow, deliberate. Not pipes. Not the house settling. Footsteps. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Unknown. Don't go upstairs. My throat tightened. Is it you? 3 dots appeared, stopped, then unknown. No. A cold sweat spread across my back. I stared at the staircase, dark, silent, waiting. Another step, this time softer, like whoever or whatever was up there knew I was listening. I grabbed the closest thing to me, an old fireplace poker leaning against the wall. The metal felt cold and heavier than I expected. My hands trembled as I held it. I told myself it was a person, a burglar, a squatter, something explainable, something human, not the alternative. My phone buzzed again. Unknown. Please, just leave. I swallowed hard, but something stronger than fear held me there. Anger. This was my house, my father's house. No one just walked into it. I stepped toward the staircase. Each step felt louder than it should have. The wood groaned under my weight. Halfway up, I stopped. Listened. Nothing. The second-floor hallway stretched ahead, dark except for faint streetlight bleeding through the windows. My bedroom door was open. I always closed it. Always. A tight pressure wrapped around my chest. I raised the poker slightly, moved forward, slow, careful. Every shadow looked wrong, every corner too deep. I reached the doorway, pushed it open fully. Empty. Bed untouched, closet closed, window locked. I exhaled shakily. "You're losing your mind," I whispered. Then, my phone buzzed again. Unknown. He hides when you look for him. My blood ran cold. I spun around. The hallway behind me was empty, silent, watching. "Who?" I whispered. No reply. I checked the guest room, empty, bathroom, empty. But something felt off, subtle, wrong. I couldn't explain it until I saw the attic door at the end of the hallway, slightly open, just an inch. My stomach dropped. I never went up there, not since my father died. He always kept it locked, said it was full of junk, said it wasn't safe. But now, the small wooden hatch hung open, a thin line of darkness beyond it. My phone buzzed again. Don't open it. Too late. My hand was already reaching. The wood felt rough under my fingers. I hesitated, every instinct screaming to stop. Then I pulled it down. The ladder unfolded with a loud wooden crack. I flinched, waited. Nothing moved. No sound. Just silence. Thick, heavy, wrong. I turned on my phone flashlight, pointed it upward. Dust floated in the beam. The attic was small, low ceiling, boxes stacked everywhere, old furniture covered in sheets, and footprints, fresh, clear, leading inward. My mouth went dry. Someone had been up here. Recently. My phone buzzed violently in my hand. Unknown. Leave. I ignored it, climbed slowly. Each rung creaked. My heart pounded so loud I was sure whoever was up here could hear it. My head rose above the attic floor. I scanned the space. Empty. No movement, no breathing, just boxes, old memories, forgotten things. I climbed fully inside. The air smelled like dust and something else, something faint, rotten. My flashlight passed over an old dresser, broken chair, stacks of newspapers tied with string. Then it landed on something that didn't belong. A mattress, thin, dirty, on the floor. My heart stopped. Beside it, a plastic water bottle, half full, and a backpack. Someone had been living here, inside my house, above my head. For how long? My hands shook as I stepped closer. The backpack was worn, faded blue. I crouched slowly, opened it. Inside, clothes. Small. Too small for a grown man. Then, a photo. Old, bent at the edges. I lifted it carefully, and everything inside me broke. It was my father, standing on the front steps of this house, smiling, his arm wrapped around a little girl. maybe 8 years old, thin, grey eyes, denim jacket too big for her. My breath caught. Riley. My phone buzzed again. I answered this time, pressed it to my ear. My voice barely worked. Riley? Her breathing was quiet on the other end. I told you not to go home. My hands trembled violently. Why do you have a photo of my father? Silence. Long, heavy. Then she said something that made my entire world collapse. Because he was my father too. I couldn't breathe. That's not possible. He used to bring me here, she whispered, when you were at school. My mind reeled. No. He said I couldn't tell anyone. The attic suddenly felt smaller, the air thinner. He promised he'd come back for me, she said, her voice cracked slightly. But he never did. A horrible realization began forming. You've been living here, I whispered. Not a question. Truth. Silence confirmed it. For how long? Since he died. 3 years. 3 years. She'd been inside my house, watching me, sleeping above me, existing in the shadows of my life. Every night, every morning. My stomach twisted violently. Why didn't you tell me? I was scared, she said. Of you? No. A pause. Then, of him. Cold spread through my veins. He's still there, she whispered. My chest tightened. What do you mean? Her breathing grew shaky. I see him sometimes. My fingers tightened around the phone. That's impossible. Another floorboard creaked behind me, inside the attic. Not from below, from inside, right behind me. Riley's voice broke into a whisper. He's not dead like you think. My blood froze. Slowly, I turned around and saw the impression of someone sitting on the mattress, indenting it, as if invisible weight had just settled there. I couldn't move. The mattress dipped deeper, slowly, like someone shifting their weight, sitting comfortably, watching me. My flashlight shook violently in my hand, the beam bouncing across empty air, but the indentation stayed. Real. Undeniable. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. Riley, I whispered into the phone. What did he do? Her breathing trembled. He never left. A cold wave rolled through my body. That's not possible, I said automatically. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it, because the mattress moved again. A slow depression where knees would be, as if something was leaning forward. My phone slipped slightly in my sweaty hand. What do you mean he never left? I whispered. Her voice cracked. The night he died, I was here. The words hit like a hammer. He told me to stay quiet, she said. Said he needed to talk to someone downstairs. My throat tightened. Who? You? My stomach dropped. I was 16, she continued softly. I waited up here for hours. I fell asleep. The attic suddenly felt suffocating. When I woke up, the house was quiet. The mattress creaked again. Closer. He was gone. I forced myself to breathe. He died at the hospital, I said. Heart attack. That's what the doctors told me. That's what I believed. That's not where he died. Riley whispered. My pulse warred in my ears. He died here. A violent chill tore through me. What? I heard it, she said. A loud crash, something falling. My mind flashed to that night 3 years ago. I had been out with co-workers, drinking, laughing, ignoring his calls. They took his body away, she continued. But they never looked up here. I stared at the indentation on the mattress. My father had died in this house, while Riley hid above him, while I wasn't there. I was scared, she said. I didn't know what would happen to me. So she stayed. 3 years, alone, watching, waiting. My chest tightened painfully. The mattress suddenly compressed sharply, as if hands had slammed into it. I stumbled backward. The air grew colder. My flashlight flickered. Then, a sound, right beside my ear. A breath. Cold, rotten. I spun around violently. Nothing there, but the smell lingered. My phone buzzed. A new text from Riley. Riley, he doesn't like that you know. My fingers trembled. Me, why is he still here? Her reply came slowly. Because he never finished what he started. My throat tightened. Before I could respond, the attic ladder slammed shut behind me. The sound exploded through the darkness. I lunged toward it, pulled. It wouldn't move. It was like something on the other side held it in place. My breathing turned ragged, panic rising fast. Open it! I shouted. No response. Only silence. Then a whisper. Not from the phone, not from below. From inside the attic. Right behind me. Son? My blood froze solid. I turned slowly. The flashlight flickered violently. For a split second, I saw him. Not clearly, just a shape. Tall, standing where the mattress lay. My father's outline, his shoulders, his posture. Wrong, distorted. His head tilted unnaturally, like something had broken his neck. Then the light stabilized. Nothing there. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook uncontrollably. I'm sorry, I whispered. The words came without thinking, because suddenly I remembered. That night, 3 years ago, his missed calls, 7 of them, 1 voicemail. I never listened to it. My phone buzzed again, not a text, a voicemail notification, old, saved, from my father, dated the night he died. My chest tightened painfully. With trembling fingers I pressed play. Static filled the speaker, then his voice. Weak, strained. I need you to come home. A crash sounded in the background. His breathing grew panicked. There's someone in the house. My heart stopped. She's not supposed to be here yet. Riley's voice suddenly filled my other ear through the phone call. I told you, she whispered. He was scared. My father's voicemail continued. I hear her upstairs. My blood turned to ice. Not him. Her. He was afraid of Riley, or something he thought was Riley. Please, he whispered. She won't leave me alone. The message cut off. Silence. The attic temperature dropped sharply. My breath fogged the air. Riley spoke again. Soft. Broken. I never went downstairs that night. A horrible realization formed. "If it wasn't you," I whispered. Her voice trembled. "Then who was he talking about?" The mattress suddenly sank violently, as if something had stood up right in front of me. The flashlight died. Darkness swallowed everything, and in that darkness, footsteps. Slow, approaching. I couldn't see, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My back hit the wall, nowhere left to go. A shape darker than the darkness stood inches from me. I felt it, its presence, its attention, its anger. Then, my phone screen lit up. A message from Riley. "Run!" At the exact same moment, the attic ladder exploded open. I didn't hesitate. I dropped the poker, jumped down, nearly fell, ran, out the front door, into the freezing night air. I didn't stop running until I reached the streetlight at the corner. My lungs burned, my hands shook uncontrollably. I turned back. The brownstone stood still, silent, like nothing had happened, like it had never held anything at all. My phone buzzed one last time. "He won't follow you." I swallowed hard. "Why not?" Her reply came after a long pause. "Because he's not attached to you." My chest tightened. "Then who?" 3 dots appeared, stopped, appeared again, then... "He's attached to the one who stayed." I looked up, toward the attic window, and for the briefest second, I saw a silhouette standing beside her, watching me. Not angry, not violent, just waiting. I never went back inside that house again. I sold it 6 months later, told the buyers it needed renovations. They never asked about the attic. I still send Riley money, not $5, more. She has an apartment now, a job, a life. But sometimes, late at night, I still get messages from unknown numbers. No caller ID, no explanation, just 3 words. "He remembers you." And last week, Riley sent me something I never expected. A photo taken from inside the attic, sent at 2:17 a.m. The mattress, the backpack, the dust, and behind it, 2 impressions, not 1, 2. Like someone was sitting beside her, still waiting.